an executive with almost 23, 24 years of experience. And I've been driving transformational growth across diverse sectors and geographies, which include India, APAC, and Middle East regions. My career has been defined into, if there was one word which I was to put it across, been with high growth and high transformational opportunities. So I got an opportunity to build scalable solutions that deliver measurable impact. Currently, I serve as business head for marketing services and KPO at Altruist Technologies, which is one of the most diversified conglomerates to have originated out of the Tri-City area of Chandigarh. Here, I have established a global capability center in marketing, and I'm managing, as I said, the marketing services firms spread across Southeast Asia and India. In my current role, I have transformed a loss-making Southeast Asian business into profitability within a 12 to 14 months time frame. One of the other things which I'm very proud of is that we have brought about cost optimizations of 27%, while simultaneously improving service quality and expanding our client base by onboarding almost 22 new clients or projects till March 2025. My journey actually began as an engineer, but even before I could fully take on as an engineer, I discovered that my passion was actually towards management and marketing solutions early on. So I had never really worked as an engineer. I decided to immediately get into post graduation and did my MBA. And then I started work as a marketing resource for it. I think the transformation really came along during JCB. It was a tenure way back in the late 2000s when I was leading their digital transformation. And this kind of culminated into my next role, where I pioneered the digital transformation for Toyota in India. Now, this was long before digital became a fancy word, and there were literally nothing on digital per se during those days. It was just coming up in India. We went from zero to becoming the most talked about automotive brand on social media within 3 years' time. It was covered by media across publications, and that was something which we are really proud of. But that experience also taught me the power of innovation in traditional industries. At Nissan, I was the head of marketing communications for Indian subcontinent, and I spearheaded the launch of Datsun brand globally, which also served as the template for the global launch of Datsun as a brand in Brazil and Indonesia later on. In India, it became a cornerstone for brand as it started contributing close to about 35% of the total sales within 12 months. One of the biggest challenges which I led at that point in time or mandate was to look at a dual brand strategy, because Nissan and Datsun were both shop-in-shop concept, which incidentally, if you really ask me, is still probably the only example which existed in the Indian market. Two parent brands being sold from the same outlet. If I were to say, my approach all these years has been being the ability to blend a strategic vision with operational excellence. And quick numbers, I'm a marketer. I love talking about data points, whether it is achieving 95% channel partner onboarding on a similar or same digital platform at Toyota, to looking at reducing team attritions by almost 88% at Nissan, or scaling a bootstrap startup within 16 months and taking it from just a 2-state presence to a 9-state presence. I have always been focused on building sustainable ecosystems that outlast individual campaigns. My career has been marked with managing cross-functional teams across multiple geographies, and I've been glad that I was able to contribute positively towards both top-line growth and bottom-line optimization. I feel extremely proud of saying, hey, listen, I've worked with Fortune 100 firms, but I've also worked with bootstrapped startups which has given me a unique perspective of what works across different organizational contexts and market conditions. Yeah, so at CMO and Newbase, I'm actually the business head. I am what you would call probably, or in other words, the CEO of these firms. So let me just first give a context of, so CMO is India's first marketing process outsourcing firm, whereas Newbase 360 is Southeast Asia's oldest media and marketing firm. Both these firms actually were acquired by Altruist Technologies, uh, and have gone through a tough transitionary phase, especially in the light of the fact that Newbase 360 was acquired just before COVID came into play, while CMO Access was onboarded right after the pandemic. Uh, Now, my approach has been pretty simple. If I were to put it in three simple words out here, it has been clarity, control, and momentum. So what I did was, if I were to break it down, a few quick steps were taken in. Uh, One was audit and align. So I was looking at understanding the landscape, did a rapid but thorough audit of the entire marketing funnel, the CRM, these org structures, lead quality data. We I identified what were the systematic inefficiencies and capability gaps. Second part was obviously to, as part 1A, was to align the stakeholders, both internal and external. When I say internal and external, internal means from these companies which we had acquired. For me, external stakeholders at that point in time actually meant the rest of the people coming in from the group entities. The second step was to rebuild this whole engine and design the strategy for it. It was primarily about creating a lean, focused strategy grounded in data, market insights, and business goals. The third was declutter and activate it. So I have always been very clear that let's look at quick operational wins. And they can only be achieved by a couple of stuff, which is process simplification, automation, and ensuring that there is an accurate segmentation and nurturing of the entire funnel which we are talking about. So that kind of turned around these businesses within 18 odd months. I've been fortunate enough to have established marketing teams and also establishing now marketing GCCs across sectors. One thing which I've learned is the keys isn't about choosing between technology and human talent. It's about creating an intelligent orchestration between these two things. Uh, so don't just automate processes. On the contrary, liberate teams from tasks which are repetitive and monotonous, so that they could focus on more strategic thinking and creative problem solving. I think the breakthrough comes with what I have always been talking about is augmented specialization. Now, what it means is that you augment the specialization, which is, as the word suggests, with automation. We look at automation for data processing, workflow management, routine operations. But at the same time, you get the human expertise to bring in those insights, those creativity, and more importantly, in our line of business, client relationship management. Now, AI can do a lot of stuff, but it can't manage that, at least not as of now. So this hybrid approach allows us to scale while maintaining the agility that the clients value. My philosophy is simple: you automate what is predictable, but you amplify what is exceptional. And to me, the human intelligence is still the most exceptional thing which is there. So and it requires investing heavily in developing the teams, while investing into or developing and making them technology proof. We are talking about creating teams who are future ready, and the key isn't just about upskilling those teams. I think what we will have to look at is a purpose-driven capability building here, which is completely. So what I did was I completely reformed the marketing operations team, aligned the individual growth trajectories with evolving business requirements, while trying to, because it's always an evolutionary exercise of fostering a culture where learning that is directly connected to meaningful impact. Now let's take the example of what at least I've attempted in my recent most tenure or on the current tenure. It's basically a three-pillar framework which I would love to talk about. So one is cross-functional expertise or exposure. The second is developing strategic thinking. And the third would be technology fluency. Now, this literally, if we really look at it, is by integrating an doing an amalgamation of talent acquisition, HR, learning and development, finance, IT, ops simultaneously. Uh, my endeavor as the business head has always been to ensure that that everyone in the team understands the other's viewpoint and their interconnectedness of business operations. So it is not just their own functional roles, but trying to understand how this impacts the other pieces of the functions there. It's about creating professionals who think like business owners, not just specialists. I know it was a fancy word where they said the future belongs to those who are specialists, but I beg to differ. I think it's about people who understand their space in the ecosystem and how it will evolve on this. Uh, and then there is something called which has been spoken about in multiple terms. Let me give my own term here. It's something called reverse mentoring. There are youngsters who are digital natives. As much as I would like to believe, listen, I'm relatively young, but I have spent a fair amount of time. There are technologies which are coming into play, which I may have not been exposed to. And this is where the younger generation who joins us can actually bring in. So it's worthwhile listening to them and trying to understand how it is coming up. Future ready teams are not built through standardized curriculums. So they have to be cultivated through exposure to real challenges, cross-cultural collaboration, and continuously strategic context. The goal has to be of developing professionals who can navigate uncertainty and not just execute predefined tasks and processes. So the first and foremost, I would love to share this. A lot of times people get hung up about uh, a specific kind of marketing, but I always say this: please understand whether it is digital marketing or offline marketing or social media marketing or any aspect of digital or offline marketing. The key word to understand here is marketing. Marketing is the job which you have to do, and one has to then deploy those pieces, whether it is digital, whether it is social media, whether it is offline channels, to achieve that objective. My advice to aspiring marketers in the current ecosystem is, listen, master the art of strategic storytelling, but please become fluent in data science.
Yes.
It is not possible to have this, and there are a few very simple without bringing in a strategic amplifier here. One thing would be to develop context intelligence, understand what those jobs or what those initiatives will mean to the brand and business. Build expertise by reading between the data lines, understanding why consumers behave in a certain way and not just what that they do. Second point, marketing is not the end of it. Marketing is the means to achieve an end. So one must become a business translator. I can take an example. When I was given the mandate to set up Toyota's digital wing in India way back, good about 16, 17 years ago, I looked at translating those marketing metrics into business impact. So I translated and communicated in the terms of ROI, P&L, impact, and strategic outcomes, not just engagement rates and impressions. Even at those days, when those were the days when people were gunning after vanity metrics, I was very clear that this cannot be the future of this. Those were early days, but and now and I think it has become true since then. The third thing is, I again say the same stuff. Please understand, if not mastering, cross-functional orchestrations. Marketing touches every single field, every single function in an organization. So please look at how your initiatives are impacting those. And finally, the last bit, and which is the last but not the least, is to develop the courage to innovate. A couple of examples, whether I did the first digital campaign in the construction equipment industry way back in 2007 to trying to bring in a full-fledged women brand ambassador for a car brand at Nissan. I think it all came from calculated risks that the others were not willing to take. The future belongs to marketers who can think like strategists, execute like operators, and innovate like entrepreneurs. Let the AI handle the how, but the marketers have to define the why and the what for it.